I always thought I knew my brother better than anyone. We weren't just siblings, we were partners in everything. When we were kids, he was the one who dared me to climb the tallest tree in our backyard. He was the one who snuck into my room when the thunder was too loud, whispering that he wasn't scared as long as we were together. He was the one who promised, no matter what, we'd always have each other's backs. And I believed him. I believed him so much that when I grew older, I convinced myself that if life ever broke him, I'd be the one to put him back together. But the truth is, I didn't. I did the opposite. It started small. Subtle changes only someone close would notice. He stopped laughing at the jokes he used to find funny. He'd stare at his food like eating was a chore. He wasn't answering calls the way he used to. His smile, that bright, reckless smile I'd seen 1,000 times, it faded into something forced, something heavy. I thought it was stress. Everyone goes through phases, right? Maybe work was hard. Maybe relationships were messy. I told myself it was normal. He'd bounce back. He always did. But deep down, something inside me knew this wasn't the same. This wasn't a storm passing by. This was a storm consuming him. One evening, I found him sitting outside, quiet, still, staring into the dark like he was searching for answers in the night sky. His hands were shaking, just slightly, but enough for me to notice. I asked, "What's wrong? Talk to me." At first, he didn't look at me. His lips parted, then closed again. It was like he was rehearsing the words in his head. Finally, in the smallest voice I had ever heard from him, he whispered, "I don't think I can keep going like this." Time stopped. My heart dropped into my stomach. I panicked. All the things I should have said, the comfort I should have given, I didn't. Instead, I reached for the only tool I thought I had, advice. I told him he was stronger than he thought. I told him everyone struggles. That life isn't easy for anyone, and he just needed to push through. I told him he was overthinking, that he was making things harder for himself. I thought I was encouraging him. I thought I was being the supportive brother. But the way he looked at me, it wasn't gratitude. It wasn't relief. It was pain. Pain that I hadn't even tried to understand him. Pain that I had reduced his struggle to weakness. He didn't fight back. He didn't explain further. He just nodded slowly, like he was tired of speaking to people who would never really listen. And then, with a voice that broke me in ways I didn't understand at the time, he said, "Thanks for trying." That was it. He went inside. I figured he just needed space. But the next morning, his room was empty. His clothes, his books, his old guitar he never went anywhere without, they were gone. No note. No message. Just silence. At first, I told myself he'd be back. He was stubborn. Maybe he just needed a break from everything, even from me. Days passed. Weeks. Then months. My phone never rang with his name. I never saw his face again. And in that silence, I realized something I still can't forgive myself for. I hadn't been his savior. I had been his last disappointment. I think back to our childhood. To the nights when thunder shook the windows and he'd crawl into my bed, whispering, "Don't let go." Back then, I always held on. But when he needed me most, I let go. I replay that night endlessly in my mind. What if I had just listened? What if I had just stayed quiet and let him pour out everything he had bottled inside? What if I had hugged him instead of drowning him in empty words? Maybe then he wouldn't have walked away. Maybe then he'd still be here. But maybe doesn't change reality. The truth is simple, and it burns every time I think of it. I thought I was helping my brother. But my words were the final weight that broke him. And now, the house feels different. His laughter doesn't echo down the hall. His guitar doesn't hum through the walls at midnight. I pass by his room and it's just four walls, hollow and cold. Sometimes I stand there, waiting, hoping he'll walk in and say it was all a mistake, that he's home. But it never happens. People tell me it wasn't my fault. That he made his own choice. That I couldn't have known. But in my heart, I know the truth. He came to me for help. He handed me his pain, fragile and trembling, and I dropped it. I didn't listen. I didn't hold him. I didn't save him. And now, when I look in the mirror, I don't see the brother who was supposed to protect him. I see the monster who failed him. Because sometimes, the hardest person to forgive isn't the one who hurt you. It's yourself, when you realize you hurt the person you loved most.